have great taste, especially with your radio choice. Thank you for spending a little time with Gary and Bristol on Kiss Country 93.7.
Get more. Something about a truck. Kiss Country 93.7, Gary and Bristol. And the way it's been around here, need to write a new one on that. Something about a boat. P-row. Something about, some chest waders.
Right.
Some hip boots. Something like that. Apparently, National Weather Service has issued flood warnings. That means it's going to happen.
Yeah.
For both Wallace Lake and Cross Lake in the Shreveport area. 9 o'clock yesterday evening, Wallace Lake, the stage was 146.1 feet. The bank full stage, and I'm guessing that what that is pool stage.
Okay.
142. They say the lake has slowly started to increase this morning, will continue to do so over the next few days, will rise to 152 feet by Thursday night into Friday morning. Flood stage 151.
Okay.
So they're talking about, possible 1 foot flood there. Cross Lake, 9:30 yesterday evening. Stage was 172.6. Bank full 172.5. So it was already a little high. Forecast crest is 173.5 around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Flood stage 173. So you're talking about, 6-inch flood. They say this crest compares to the one back in 2016, the 1,000-year flood.
Oh, no.
Now, it would appear it's only, 6 inches. So I don't recall if during the 1,000-year flood, if Cross Lake just didn't get as much flooding as Red River did and some of the other lakes. But they say to be prepared. There will be, not possibly, there will be some flooding around both Wallace and Cross Lake today. Kiss Country 93.7. All in the same boat. And there's a lot of truth to that. Still saying. They could have both fit on that door.
Oh, my gosh. Are you still on the Titanic thing?
Kiss Country 93.7, Gary and Bristol, and 21,400 SWEPCO customers still in the dark this morning. And God love you, if you have not reported your outage, in all likelihood, they probably know. But it couldn't hurt to go in and do exactly what you need to. We've got all the instructions on how to do that in your Kiss Country app. Now, we do have a number of schools that are out today, along with all state office buildings being closed.
Yeah, so that's Caddo and DeSoto parishes. You are out of school today. In Webster Parish, Central Elementary School also closed today. That is due to a power outage. And this is all because, A, we've got more impending severe weather.
Right.
B, we've got flood warnings in places now. And we need to make sure that we are, securing our personal property as well. So if you're looking for sandbags, all the different municipalities have them. You can get them at Houghton Fire District 1, the Highway Department there on Mayfield, South Bossier Fire District 2 there on Robinson Road. You can get them there in the town of Houghton, there on West McKinley, also the town of Plain Dealing on West Palmetto. Now, the Highway Department to get those sandbags is open at 7:20 this morning through 3:30 this afternoon. Now, if you are in Shreveport and looking for sandbags, you're going to want to go to the city facility there on Mansfield Road in Shreveport. They're going to be available until 3 o'clock today. Caddo Parish residents can pick up sandbags just outside of downtown Shreveport. They're on Monty until 3:30 today. Now, they are limiting those to 15 bags per resident, so just know that. Also, in DeSoto Parish, the police jury has sandbags available there at the Police Jury Road Department. That's at 424 Liberty Lane in Grand Cane, and they're limiting their sandbags to 20 per household.
And today is National Sibling Day. So if you live in one of those flood areas, call your brother, your sister, and say, hey, look, I need you to run by, because they're limiting you to like 15 sandbags. I need you to go by and get sandbags, okay? Because, by the time this is all over with, I'm thinking, that there could be some areas that do see, I'm not saying flooding like 2016, but I am saying some minor flooding. So keep us in mind as you look for information on that. Go get those sandbags. Stay ahead of this.
Making life better, one morning at a time. It's Gary and Bristol on Kiss Country 93.7.
I'll tell you how the country feels right now, kind of soggy. Kiss Country 93.7. That's Randy Hauser. We are Gary and Bristol. Thank you for letting us wake up with you. Ticket trivia coming up at 7:15. We will give away some Hank Jr. tickets. I don't know if they're waterproof, but...
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Since we
They're
emailed
electronic.
them...
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Okay, here's what we know in regards to the weather issues right now.
Okay, so as far as colleges, Louisiana Tech, BIPSI, and Northwestern have all canceled classes today. State offices are all closed today. Alcato, DeSoto, Sabine, Claiborne, Bienville, and Natchitoches Parish schools closed today. And Webster Parish, Central Elementary School is closed due to a power outage, but the rest of the schools are in session. All Shreve Memorial Library branches closed today. And that is what we know at this point.
Oh, and you mentioned power outage. Mm-hmm. At this time, SWEPCO is reporting 21,539 customers without power. And it keeps teeter-tottering, from 22 and change down to 21 and change. And likely going to be a lot like yesterday. We mentioned this earlier. They'll get some knocked out. They'll take one step forward and then two steps back.
Then another tree comes down, and guess what?
And speaking of that, we just got a report of a road hazard, Highland and Dudley. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where some of those big trees are, those big oaks.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
In that area.
Yes, those are huge old trees.
Keep that in mind. Now, yesterday morning, we got reports of some flooding on I-20 in the Greenwood area. I'm thinking we're probably going to see some more, because we got flood warnings issued for all of Cross Lake and Wallace Lake. We're probably going to see some more flooding of some of these roadways around here. If you run across a place that hey, it's getting a little dangerous, like 154 in the Lake Bistineau region.
Oh, yeah,
there was some flooding there yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were talking about around, the Door Cheat Bayou that, at the launch there, it wasn't up into the parking lot yet,
but it's going to get there.
It was going to get there. So keep that stuff in mind and keep us in the loop. If you don't mind, take a second. You can shoot us a message in the app and let us know, or just call us, and that way we can get that word out. 725-5477. 725-KISS.
They're like a Band-Aid for all of life's bobos. It's Gary and Bristol only on Kiss Country 93.7.
There's Lee Bryce, Hard to Love, Kiss Country 93.7. Gary and Bristol, and ticket trivia for Hank Williams Jr. Hank and Neil McCoy, April the 26th, Berkshire Grocery Arena.
All right, now, if you missed the answer to yesterday's ticket trivia question, we had fun with it because then we got to talk about blind dates. Oh, okay.
About 140 people just got electricity.
Hey, for them, that's a big darn deal. I'm going to tell you what. Yesterday's question. It's said that doing this will elevate your heart rate as much as skydiving. We wanted to know what that was, and it was going on a blind date.
Okay, today's question. About half of all men say they only do this on the weekend. What? About half of all men say they only do this on the weekend. What? 725-5477. 725. That's Chris Young, Famous Friends, Kiss Country 93.7. Gary and Bristol, just hanging out on the radio with all our famous friends. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for the heads up. We've gotten a number of calls. Apparently, Barron Road at Linwood closed this morning due to high water. They get the barricades up there. Also heard reports that there is some high water on the Stonewall Frierson Road exit of I-49. Mm-hmm. And normally, those low-lying areas that are prone to flooding, those are probably going to see some water on them this morning.
And as a result, we've got quite a few closures to add to the list. We got Louisiana Tech, BIPSI, Southern University in Shreveport, and Northwestern close. LSUS going to be delaying their start. That's just until noon. After that, everything will be as normal.
A couple of minor accidents this morning. Shreveport police are on the scene with these. I-20 eastbound at Monkhouse Drive. And then a little further west, I-20 west at Pines Road. So both sides of the interstate with some minor accidents this morning. One at Monkhouse, the other at Pines Road. Okay, we got word about this yesterday from our own Erin McCarty. She was telling us that the Louisiana House has just passed a bill that would make it illegal to give panhandlers anything on public streets or highways. Mm-hmm. And apparently, this would ban motorists from giving cash or any other items of value to those folks who stand there on the street corners begging for money, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, while I get it, I understand that, there's a reason why you don't want those people panhandling in those particular areas and stuff like that. I just don't think we need another law. Well, it's already against the law in most of these areas for them to be panhandling to begin with. And now you're going to penalize Bristol because she hands the homeless guy on the street corner a cheeseburger?
See, they're saying it's a safety issue because, having people on the side of the street, obviously a hazard. You don't want to hit them.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. But it just seems so un-Christian. Now, I mean, and I'm only speaking as a single woman here. I don't want anybody just approaching my vehicle.
Oh, no.
No, that's scary to me. That's, and I know that, most times they mean absolutely no harm, but this is my space. This is my house at the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to say aggressive, but it puts me on edge. Yeah.
So where are you at on this issue? I mean, if that was to come out, for a vote and you got to vote, would you say, yeah, okay, let's make it law that if you, and I'm going to call it enable these panhandlers by giving them money or anything of value, then you can be cited for that. Would you agree with that? Would you vote for that? Or no?
I feel like the local municipalities have already got measures in place, and it almost feels like an overreach. But that's just me.
See, that's where I'm at. It's like, there is a law in most of these places against the panhandling to begin with. So you think you're going to solve the problem by passing another law?
Right.
If the one that you already have isn't working, why would another law make it better?
I don't get it.
725-5477, 725-KISS. Where are you at on this one?
Hello.
Got something to tell Gary in Bristol? Call them at 725-KISS, or you can leave them a voicemail on the KISS Country app. It's KISS Country 93.7.
KISS Country 93.7. Morning. It's Gary in Bristol. Thank you, Thomas. Just called a minute ago. And I'm thanking him for the news. I wish he'd had better news instead of the news he had, but Thomas says I-220 westbound, there's a wreck there just past Shed Road. He said traffic is backed up forever. I-220 west, they're about Shed Road, just past it. Probably want to avoid that.
Oh, man.
And some high water this morning reported on the Stonewall-Frierson Road exit of I-49. Also got a report that Linwood and Barron, that intersection is closed there due to high water. They got barricades up and everything there. Okay, the discussion this morning revolves around some legislation that just went through the Louisiana House of Representatives. And they have passed this bill that says that it would make it illegal to give panhandlers anything on public streets or highways. Now, what they're doing is they would penalize the giver, not the panhandler.
Well, they're saying if you'd stop giving them money, they wouldn't hang out there and they wouldn't be a safety issue. But it just doesn't feel right to us. And I don't know. It's for a bunch of different reasons because aren't we tasked with helping our fellow man if they're on low times?
Well, but the thing is they're saying that if we will quit doing that, then they will go through the proper channels to get the aid they need.
Well, they're also saying it's a safety issue as well. Obviously, having people hanging out on the street side is not really a good idea when you got people flying by there.
So where are you at on this one? 725-KISS. Good morning, KISS Country. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Will Gamble, calling from Bossier.
Hey,
How
buddy.
I'm good. I got a question on this whole panhandle thing. Did they happen to sneak in to where no one could get any money on the street? So, like, if you got a cause and you know how people are always out there asking for donations?
Like the kids holding the baseball helmets looking for money for their trip to the World Series?
Exactly. So is that what they did? Did they put it under panhandler? But yeah, it prevents anyone from being on the street.
Ooh, I don't know.
I know that in past years, I know in talking to Shreveport firemen, you know how they used to always have the boot? at the different intersections when we're out for Operation Santa Claus. I don't believe they're allowed to do that anymore because of measures like this.
That's
So
what I'm
I would
getting
think
at,
it
though.
applies to your church group and, that kind of stuff.
So if they gave you something in return, like a sticker for $5, technically that's a transaction, not a donation.
But then you would need a permit, wouldn't you?
I don't know.
Wow. I don't know. You brought up some good points.
I'm just saying, I know in other places they sandwich it like that and they make it for the greater good of the public by saying it's a panhandler thing when actually they had other causes.
They don't want some little kid out there on the street corner selling chocolate bars from the elementary school.
Well, that would be dangerous.
But it happens.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I got here.
Thanks for making us part of your morning. Gary and Bristol on Kiss Country 93.
Oh, my goodness. The jokes just write themselves. Morgan Wallen, Eric Church, man made a bar, and then Morgan Wallen threw a chair from the 6th floor at Eric Church's bar. I know, that's just bad, isn't it? We are Kiss Country 93.7. Good morning. It's Gary and Bristol, and this morning's topic is all about panhandling. They're working on a measure in Baton Rouge right now that wouldn't ban panhandling. It would actually come down on the person who gave money or goods to said panhandlers. Where are you at on that? 725-KISS.
Good morning, Kiss Country. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Gary, it's William at Batteries Plus on Uri Drive.
Hey, William.
Hey.
Okay, so what are you thinking on this one?
Well, my question is, you know how over in my area of town, right here in front of Sam's Club and everybody, every day there are panhandlers out every day asking for money and donations and stuff. And according to the legislation that you've been talking about on the radio, it says that it's banning it on public roads and highways.
Mm-hmm.
But these parking lots are considered private property. So is it going to affect the police being able to enforce this law with these people that are here in the Sam's Club parking lot, and then the Target parking lot and, other Lowe's and other places like that? I mean, that's like those properties are considered private.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't there a city ordinance against the panhandling in those areas? I mean, doesn't the city...
One would think.
I think the city already had... And see, that's my issue. Why would you pass another law? Enforce the one you've got.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I see, these people out every day, the same people too, a lot of times. And then, the police just drive by them a lot of times and don't even stop and say, hey, you're not supposed to be here, or...
But don't they have? To me, the thing is they're on their way to a shooting. Why are they going to mess with a panhandler?
Yeah, but a lot of times, Bristol, they're just driving through the parking lot. From what I've seen.
I know.
Great point, though. I mean, does that give you any protection? Not on a city street.
Kiss Country 93.7.
We need more cowbell. It's time for another Kiss Cash Cow Code.
All right, whip out that phone, open up your free Kiss Country app. It's time to win cash, up to $30,000. Enter this code in your app by midnight tonight for your chance to win. It's 398. That's 398. Enter 398 now in their app for your chance to win. And don't forget, we got another chance for you to win coming up at 9:20. Don't miss it.
Nothing puts the good in your morning like Gary and Bristol on Kiss Country 93.
That's how it usually works out. Messed up as me. That's New Country from Keith Urban. Kiss Country 93.7, Gary and Bristol.
Clearly, he didn't write that song. He's not that messed up. I mean, it could have been an anthem.
You never know
us.
till you live with them.
Well, that's true.
I mean, or sit in a 10 by 10 room for 4 hours, 6 days a week. Then you know. Oh, it's like, oh yeah, let me tell you. Okay, it is Gary and Bristol, and Thursdays around here are really special.
It's for those people who aren't quite as messed up as us, or at
Amen.
least they found a way through it.
Or to hide it.
And they are doing for others. That's what we love about Thursdays, because that is when we reveal our latest Kiss Country Caught in the Act Award recipient.
Somebody gets a $100 gift card to go to Silver Star Smokehouse, have a great meal. Of course, we get to brag about them on the radio and on the website, our Facebook page. We send it up in smoke signals. This time around, we'll probably put it on the Ark and sail it out. We're going to meet this week's recipient tomorrow morning. And if you've not made a nomination, I promise you, sometime in the last few weeks, somebody has done something and you went, you know what?
That's a good person.
And they need to know about them. We do. All you got to do is jump on the website or the Kiss Country app, type in Caught in the Act, where you see the little micro, what do you call that little thing?
What, the microphone?
No, it's not a microphone. It's magnifying glass.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, the
Hey,
search thing.
I'm old. I get to lose words. Anyway, when you see that little magnifying glass, type in Caught in the Act. Any one of those stories that pops up is going to give you a link in there to make that nomination. Get her done. We'll meet tomorrow morning's recipient right after ticket trivia. That'll happen 7:15, so we'll get the winner somewhere around 7:30-ish.
It's Gary and Bristol on Shreveport Bossier's #1 for new country. Kiss Country 93.